This is not for you. Keep this in mind if you're ever thinking of getting a goat. Well, hello folks, and welcome back to Saving Miller. So I know it's been a while. Not too much has been happening, a little bit here and there, but we have just been very, very busy. And now we've come to that time of the year when I've got to get the pasture seeded. And so last year I think I showed you what I was using. I'll show you again. I'm using the same blend this year. Hey. But I made a big mistake last year. I did not mow the Bermuda grass down. So as you can see, a lot of it is, what is that? 8 or 10 inches tall. So that's really, really too high for new grass to get established. I can see this is not going to go well. So I'm going to bring you guys closer and we'll chat about this so I can keep the goat out of here. Okay, so I've got this little hole behind cedar, broadcast cedar, and this is the seed. Once again, I don't know the exact blend. There's a variety of seeds in there, but I really did like how it turned out last year. The variety seemed to be very good for the pasture, and we did let some of it go to seed, so some of it may come up, but I didn't necessarily make a serious goal of trying to let it go to seed so it does come back this year. So I don't recall what I used last year, but I had been using Old Unfaithful there, and it's completely dead now. This goat is impossible. I gotta get going so she doesn't eat all my seed before I get it broadcast out there. Old Unfaithful is completely useless, and so I came up with a new solution. The tractor is too big for this cedar, and so right here I hooked this thing up. I drilled a hole in there actually, hooked it up to the little dolly for the walk behind mower. It's really difficult making videos with animals, especially a stubborn one like a goat or a noisy one like a rooster. We don't have the rooster making problems, but the goat, she's we don't actually feed her. She just lives on the pasture out here. She eats weeds and stuff. We need to get her bred, but we want to get this winter grass seeded, and I have mowed the first section here and the other section over there. I don't have this one mowed, but the cows are out there and they're going to help me get that mowed down. I've just moved them over there. So that's the plan for today. It's a beautiful fall day, amazing temperatures, and we're going to get going here so I can get some out of here before the goat eats it all. Hey, quit. nothing is safe with a goat. So this mower, this walk behind mower, actually works pretty well for pulling stuff like this, as long as it doesn't need to be too high. And I actually enjoy running it. It's gas powered, and I'm gonna seed this section here first, and we'll see how far this seed goes. I got 5 bags, and hopefully I can do most of it with those 5, because they are fairly expensive. Okay, so I'm ready to go here, and we're gonna try to get our broadcast rate right. I've already done one, and I didn't get it right. I put way too much seed down. So, but it's on the edges, and sometimes it's nice to have a little extra on the edges, and then by the time you get it dialed in the middle, it's the right amount. But you get good coverage through the fences and stuff where the animals like to graze anyway. So I thought I'd show you guys the label on this. This stuff comes from Yuma, Arizona. Similar climate to here, a little bit hotter, maybe a little drier. But here's the seed that's here. And of course they give us some code names there, so they don't actually tell us what, you know, PR 1404 is. I don't know. But this is the seed we're putting down here. And so we'll see what kind of pasture it produces. Now the challenge with using a walk behind like this is you basically need about 3 hands to drive this thing in the first place. Then you need a 4th hand to adjust that. So we'll see how that goes. So there you can see one of the benefits to using a mower to pull your broadcast spreader. You can mow while you're broadcasting the seed. So I actually mowed this with the tractor a couple days ago, and there was a lot of material here. Let me show you this pile. So this pile of grass came from the pasture. I've got a pile here, and there's one at the back end of the pasture. Probably a little hard to see, but that's extra grass that I picked up. But I don't want too much on top, and I've done this before. I actually just let the grass on a pile like this, and the animals stir it around. They roll in it and they stir it, and then I might use the tractor to move it a couple of times so it doesn't kill what's underneath it, and it actually eventually just decomposes and goes away. It's amazing. Like, this whole pile will be gone by spring, and it just kind of spreads out. And I'm thin. I don't have a lot of organic material in this area of the pasture, and so it's going to kind of spread out here, and it's going to help the quality of the soil here while giving the animals something to do. So yeah, that's the setup I have now. I don't really like this thing. I'd actually really like to have a 3-point broadcast spreader for the tractor, and so I may try to get something like that for next year, so that we can get better results, something that's a little more consistent. Now, one thing I've learned the hard way is that you need to start on the light side. It's a whole lot easier to take that last bag and spread it out again than it is to try to recover 3 bags that you put on too heavy. So always, when you're working with these, start on the light side, make sure you know how much you're getting, keep an eye on it, and then make adjustments, go heavier if you need to, or make a second pass. So that'll save you some seed costs right there if you take that tip. I gotta get going again. Okay, I'm pretty happy with how that went. So I've got this section seated here, so I've got the 3 bags for the other section. So I got to go get those over here, and then I'll go and do that. So I would encourage you, if you've got pasture, to think about using a winter grass like this. Some kind of a forage blend, or like we've done before, we just did a simple ryegrass, and then we mixed in some clover, and the cows loved it. I mean, it was great. Now, they did get pretty runny on it, but you know, lots of that fresh green protein in the spring, it just really got them going. And so this, I think, is a more balanced blend, and I think it's probably a little better for them. They definitely didn't get nearly as runny on this grass as they have on the ryegrass. But no matter where you are in some of the more temperate climates of the United States, you should be able to plant a winter grass like this and subsidize your winter feed costs, because, you know, feeding steers for meat, if that's what they're intended for, feeding them a bunch of hay during the winter just gets expensive and drives up your costs a lot. So if you can come up with an alternative way to do it, I'd really encourage you to do it. It benefits the land, it benefits the soil, it's good for chickens, it's good for all the animals, and it looks nice during the winter to have a nice green pasture instead of something brown like this, because this is what it would look like all winter long if we didn't do anything, if we didn't put something out for it. Now, we're also I'm going to get some clover, and I've got some alfalfa I'm going to put out, and hopefully we can get it to grow and not lose too much to the gophers. And so that'll increase the diversity even more. So that's what I've got for you now. Another out.